There's a version of you that quit something 3 years ago. A job, a relationship, a degree you were only 2 semesters away from finishing. And somewhere in a life you'll never get to see, that decision worked out just fine. You'll never know. But the fact that you sometimes wonder might explain why you're still here, still showing up, still pushing through something you stopped believing in a long time ago. Here's the question almost nobody asks out loud. What if you're not staying because it's worth it? What if you're staying because leaving would mean admitting you were wrong about who you are? Stay with me, because this isn't really a video about quitting. It's about the strange way identity can quietly become a prison. Most of us grow up believing persistence is one of our greatest strengths. Finish what you start. Don't complain. Push through. The people who keep going are the people who succeed. And for a long time, that's true. Persistence gets you through school. It gets you through difficult seasons. It helps you build skills that other people give up on too early. But here's the part almost nobody notices. The habit that once built your life can eventually become the habit that keeps you trapped inside it. The strange thing is, you usually don't notice when that change happens, because you keep using the same strategy that worked before. Only now, you're no longer climbing a mountain, you're digging a hole. And because digging has always been rewarded, you keep digging. Why? Maybe you tell yourself it's about the money, or the years, or the degree, or everything you've already sacrificed. But underneath all of that, there's a quieter fear. You're not afraid those years were wasted. You're afraid of what it would mean if they weren't leading anywhere anymore. Because somewhere along the way, "I don't quit" stopped being something you did and became who you believed you were. That's a dangerous place for an identity to live, because now every decision feels like a verdict on your character, not your situation, your character. Your brain stops asking, "Is this still the right path?" and starts asking, "What kind of person walks away?" Those aren't the same question, but they feel identical. Imagine meeting yourself 5 years from now. That future version already knows how this story ends. They already know whether the job lasts, whether the relationship survives, whether the business succeeds. The only thing they wish they could change is how long you spent trying to save something that had already stopped working. That feeling has a name: the sunk cost fallacy. We keep investing because we've already invested, not because the future looks better, but because admitting the past won't pay off feels unbearable. People finish meals they stopped enjoying 20 minutes ago. Companies pour millions into failing projects. People stay in relationships that ended emotionally years before they ended officially. Different situations, same psychology. Here's the truth that matters. The years you've already spent are gone. Leaving doesn't erase them. Staying doesn't justify them. Your next decision can't change yesterday. It can only change tomorrow. So here's the real question. If the past can't be saved either way, why does staying still feel safer? Because this isn't actually about quitting. It's about confusing two very different things: meaningful persistence and harmful persistence. From the outside, they look almost identical. Both require sacrifice. Both are uncomfortable. Both ask you to keep going. But one moves you toward a future. The other only protects a past. Imagine two people waking up before sunrise. One is training for their first marathon. Every mile hurts. But Every mile moves them closer to a finish line they still believe exists. The second person also wakes up exhausted. They drive to a job they secretly decided to leave almost 2 years ago. Every day they promise themselves just one more month. Nothing changes. Both people are tired. Both people are disciplined. One is becoming freer. The other is becoming smaller. What's the difference? Belief. One still believes in where they're going. The other only believes in where they've already been. So, here's a question worth asking. If someone described your situation exactly as it exists today, not the version you hoped it would become, the version you're actually living, would you choose it? Not 5 years ago, not when you first started, today. If your answer is yes, then maybe this isn't sunk cost. Maybe this is a commitment worth honoring. But if your answer is no, then maybe you're no longer protecting your future. Maybe you're defending your past. That distinction changes everything, and your fear deserves respect. Because it isn't irrational, it's protecting something real. Identity. Somewhere along the way, "I don't give up" became one of the pillars holding up how you see yourself. Pull that pillar away, and it feels like the whole building might collapse. But here's the paradox. Identity was never supposed to be built on one decision. It was supposed to be built on values. Values stay. Paths change. You can value discipline without remaining loyal to a commitment that no longer deserves it. You can value courage without confusing it with endurance. You can value growth without staying loyal to an older version of yourself. Walking away from a path isn't the same thing as walking away from your values. Sometimes it's the first time you've actually honored them. There's another cost almost nobody talks about. Not the years you'll lose if you leave, the years you'll lose if you don't. Imagine a 42-year-old sitting in their car outside the office. Their resignation letter has been saved on their laptop for 11 months. Every morning, they rehearse the conversation. Every afternoon, they tell themselves, "Next week." Nothing dramatic happens. That's the problem. Life doesn't collapse. It simply becomes smaller, week by week, year by year, until one day they realize they didn't choose this life anymore. They simply stopped choosing anything. Staying always feels less risky because its price arrives slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. The people who eventually build lives they're proud of usually aren't the people who never quit. They're the people who learned something much harder. They learned the difference between a difficult chapter and a wrong book. One deserves persistence. The other deserves honesty. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. So where does that leave you? Not with an answer, with a question. The next time you're wondering whether to stay or leave, don't ask, "How much have I already invested?" Ask this instead. Am I protecting my future or defending my past? Sit with that question, because it changes everything. If this is still worth choosing, starting from where you are today, then stay. Stay with your eyes open. Stay because you've chosen it. Again, not because you chose it years ago. But if the answer is no, if you've secretly known for a long time, then maybe you don't need permission to leave. Maybe you only needed permission to stop confusing change with failure. People think courage always looks like holding on. Sometimes it does. But sometimes, courage looks like thanking your past for getting you here and refusing to let it decide the rest of your life. Respecting your past doesn't require obeying it. If this gave you a new way to think about a decision you've been carrying, hit the like button because it helps this reach the people who need it right now, and consider subscribing for more videos like this. And if you're facing a stay or leave decision right now, share it in the comments. You may discover you're not the only one asking the same question, and your perspective might be exactly what someone else needs to hear.